Did you ever take one look at your to-do list, get totally overwhelmed, say, screw it, and then just go hide from it for the rest of the day? There are so many things on that list, and you've decided that they're all important. That just stresses you out, and you have no idea where to start. Overwhelm has set in. If this sounds like you, stick around. Today I'm going to teach you how to handle overwhelm. Hi, I'm Jess of JessDickerson.com, and I'm a life coach helping you go from stress to success by being more motivated, more confident, and less stressed. If you want to make sure you don't miss an episode, go down and hit the subscribe button below. By the end of this video, you're going to have 7 ways to help you manage overwhelm, and none of them involve changing your name and moving to a new state to get away from it all. So managing overwhelm is a 2-step process. The first part involves managing the overwhelm while you're in the middle of it. Sure, I'd love to tell you that if you managed your time right, that you'd never end up with too much stuff on your plate, but that's not how life works. Stuff comes up. There's no way around it. At some point, you're going to end up overwhelmed, and you're going to have to learn how to manage that feeling so that you can make progress and move through it. The second part is learning how to step away from potentially overwhelming things long enough to regroup and recharge. Most of us are so busy all the time that if a last-minute project comes up, we have nowhere to squeeze it in. Plus, most of us carry around our jobs in our pockets, and we don't step away from our inboxes long enough to detach and recharge. Let's start with what you can do to manage overwhelm while you're in it. The first way is a brain dump, or mind sweep, or mind palace, download, mind map, whatever you call it. Just get everything that's floating around your head out on a piece of paper, or it might take several if you've got a lot going on. It doesn't matter if the things that you have to do that are floating around your head are going to happen anytime soon. And it doesn't even have to be something that you have to do. It could just be song lyrics or things you've been thinking about. Just get it all out on a piece of paper. Think about it like one of those reality TV shows with the hoarders where they make them take all of the stuff out of their house and lay it out on big tarps on the lawn so they can sort it. It's like that, but for your brain. Once everything is out on the piece of paper, then you can start going through it and prioritizing it. Several things on there might not even need to happen anytime soon. Other things might be associated to the same project and they can start to be sorted together. What you're likely to find is that even though you have line after line or even page after page of things on that paper, there's probably only 3 to 5 things that need to happen today, and probably one of them that's super important and it is right at the top of the list. So go ahead and tackle those 3 to 5 things that are on your most important list for today. If you have extra time at the end of the day, you can start working through some other important things on that list. If you don't, you can repeat this whole process tomorrow. The next way to manage overwhelm is to see where your time goes. I just talked about this in my last video about how to get more time in your day, so if you missed that, check out the cards and I'll link it up. Basically though, overwhelm and a lot of stress in general comes from our inability to manage our attention spans. Now, it's not your fault, but you live in a society where your distractions pay other people's bills. Your phone and your computer software have been designed to catch your attention as often as possible. The more time you spend in them, the more money other people make. Plus, you've got a 24/7, never-ending access to all of the random questions that are floating around in your head. Do flamingos have webbed feet? Who won the 1978 World Series? What is the airspeed of a swallow? You also have an endless amount of entertainment and an endless scroll of people to compare your life to. Add in the potential of an open office floor plan or a chatty cubicle neighbor, and it's easy to sit there for endless hours getting nothing done while you watch your to-do list grow. Your job in all of this is to manage your attention. Do what you can. Maybe you can set quiet hours with coworkers so that no one's interrupting anybody else. Turn off the notifications on your phone and your computer, and then hide your phone while you're working so that it's not a visual distraction. Keep a piece of paper with you at your workspace so that if you do think of something that you need to do or a question that you want to Google, then you can write it down on the piece of paper and not let it be a distraction, and then you can look it up later when you get a break. All of this is to help keep you on task at work, which means that you'll be more productive. That way you're less likely to get overwhelmed And there's less for you to worry about while you're not supposed to be working. Speaking of working, how realistic is your workload? When you look at everything you're supposed to do, is it even realistically possible for you to get it all done? Consider, are there things on your plate that don't necessarily need to be done by you that you could farm out to other people? I'm not only talking about work here. You can outsource a lot of things: cooking, cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping. Just try to keep only the things that require your particular set of knowledge or your creativity, and consider outsourcing the rest. Now on to what you can do to prevent overwhelm from setting in the first place. The number one thing is to set boundaries. You might have heard this term thrown around a lot lately. It's particularly big when it comes to avoiding narcissists and other kinds of toxic people. But boundaries aren't just for negative, toxic people. If you can't say no to anyone, even the most kind-hearted person could potentially put you into overwhelm. Boundaries are simply setting realistic limits on your time and your energy, and then saying no to things that will cause you to overextend yourself and stress yourself out. Boundaries are something that are best set long before you are ever going to be asked to do something. You need to be clear in your head what is okay with you and what is not okay with you, because there will always be people who are willing to come up and test your boundaries. Some people might ask you several times just to make sure that you are standing firm on that boundary that you set. But stand firm. It may take a few times of you reminding people, especially that this is a new boundary that you set up or one that you used to have and you let people roll over and now you're trying to put it back in place again. People are going to test them either on purpose or just by accident because they're used to you not having that boundary. But if you stand firm over time, people will come to respect those boundaries. The next way to help with overwhelm is to get support. Support can come from a whole bunch of different people in a whole lot of different places. Take advantage of whatever you can whenever you need it. Maybe you have family that can help you out with the kids, or maybe you have a coworker that can help you out with clients. You probably have some friends that you can go and vent to when you're having a rough day. Now here's where there's more to this though. When it comes to support, a bitch session with your bestie can be great therapy. However, don't let it just stop at complaining. Once you've vented, go back over the situation and look for solutions to your problems. Talking those out with a friend can actually bring more clarity and an additional viewpoint to the situation. And if you're still not finding a way through, I'm here to tell you that coaching is a great method of support. And if that's something that you'd like to try, then I'll have a link down in the description where you can see how to work with me and schedule your free call. The third option for trying to stay away from overwhelm is to take breaks. I know you're all like, duh, of course, I know that. But do you take real breaks? I'm not talking about just flipping from whatever you're working on so that you can go watch cat videos. I'm talking about a real get up and walk away and do something completely different than what you were doing kind of a break. Get up and go outside and get some exercise if you can, particularly if you sit at a desk all day. Do you do something like that every hour and a half to 2 hours? Or do you consider eating lunch at your desk a break? When you're really busy and teetering on the edge of overwhelm, it can be super tempting to sit there and just power through it. The problem is, eventually you just can't power through it. Your brain starts to get all mushy and you realize you haven't had a good idea all morning. You would be shocked at the amount of pondering and working through problems that your brain does when you're not actively working on something. Your brain is working in the background to try and figure out the answer to that problem that you've set for it. Just think about all the great ideas that you've had driving home from work when you space out, or when you're in the shower and you're not really thinking about it and all of a sudden you get a light bulb because your brain is constantly working. If you don't give your mind and your body really some space to walk away from what you're working on, you can't be at your most productive, but you are going to be all tired and foggy. So try stepping away for regular breaks every 1.5 to 2 hours, or more often if you need them. You might be surprised how much more productive you'll be. The last way to avoid overwhelm is to change your community. Ever heard the saying, if you hang around 4 broke guys, you'll be the 5th? That is the power of community. We are tribal beings with a primal need to fit in with the people around us. So if the people around you are constantly busy, overfilling their plates and running themselves ragged, where do you think you're going to end up? It takes a lot of self-awareness to notice and break this cycle. But if you find that you're in a community where people are constantly busy and overwhelmed, you have two choices. The first way is to stop the glorification of busy. Do some personal work, speak up about it, and try to change the community around you. When everybody else is talking about how busy they've been, talk about the breaks that you've taken. When everyone else is talking about work, talk about your hobbies. But that doesn't always work. Some people like to cling to the ways that they're used to, even if they're damaging. So in that case, it's time to find a new tribe. Search for people in real life or online that aren't always trying to be busy. People that believe in breaks and boundaries and free time and rest. You could even say hello in the comments and find community here. Some of the most amazing supportive people I know I met online and I've never even seen in person. There you go, 7 ways of dealing with overwhelm. Try one of them, try them all, but go down in the comments and let me know which one you're going to try first. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead down and hit the like button and then also hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. If you're interested in more information about this topic, go ahead down to the description and I'll have a link to the article that I wrote on Overwhelm. There'll also be a link for you to sign up for my newsletter so you can get more awesome content like this delivered straight to your inbox. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, there'll be a link down there so you can see my programs and sign up for your free call with me. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.